Our ancient fears and greed are not derived from our personal reservoirs of knowledge. They are politically installed within us by our belonging groups. While our religions may endlessly discuss hope, optimism, and faith, they often neglect that fear and greed simply do not mix with hope and faith. These negative emotions are closely tied to our political ponds, streams, and rivers of belonging. When it comes to faith, its main purpose is to teach us about hope because they go hand in hand. Not only do they provide spiritual benefits during our lifetimes, but they also make logical sense. Greed and fear, on the other hand, are signs of a lack of faith, and they don't mix unless there is a political twist involved. Logical knowledge doesn't speak from both sides of the mouth, especially concerning spirituality. If you preach hope, fear and greed simply don't fit together. It's either hope and faith or greed and fear. Teaching something conflicting is not only confusing, but it also has the potential to taint one's spirituality. When fear and greed are used as motivators, hope is the first thing to go. Believing in God without hope is a spiritual problem with no solutions for the individual. For political religion, this isn't a problem but rather a bonanza because a weaker, hopeless, fearful, and greedy individual is primed to be controlled and used as a worker bee or a warrior ant. Remember, no matter how religious you are, your belief system is questionable to you and, interestingly, by you. If we start to examine our fear and greed, they were probably among the first pieces of human knowledge we became aware of. Sure, we will always have their opposites. So bravery and generosity have also been integral to human life. Interestingly, both sides are admired and glorified throughout our history since everyone felt and understood their importance and necessity. Societies across humanity, even without connections to each other, invented stories simply to politically control their individuals. Our pursuit of control helped us evolve, and here we are, doing things to play God. Yet, at the same time, many people around the world prefer to remain stuck in their fear and greed philosophies rather than taking on the responsibilities of a CEO. To me, this is another politically flipped triangle. Hope, fear, and greed have been flipped along with God, devil, and human individual, or a CEO and a CEO's sense of belonging and sense of freedom. The right side up is hope at the top corner, just like the CEO at the top in other triangles, making decisions and being responsible for personal actions. People become rich and successful for different reasons, driven by various motivations. The discovery of these motivations has led to the creation of a class system. The elite class realized that humans are easily motivated by fear and greed, and they have used this understanding to control people, thereby reinforcing political power. Our sense of belonging is deeply rooted, even affecting our hormone levels, teaching us to live in groups. Unfortunately, this sense of belonging is founded on the politics of trust, giving rise to trust politics. However, trust based on political foundations cannot be genuinely trusted. From parents to belonging groups, to nations and religions, all engage in the politics of trust. Yet most crimes against individuals are committed by those within their belonging groups. We are taught not to trust others, leading us to stick together despite internal conflicts. Historically, religions and nationalism have divided us. Muslims have 10 known sects, Christians have even more, and individual beliefs vary widely. Some people become extremists, others moderates. Some abandon God altogether, and some believe by degrees. Politicians and business people alike cannot get enough of preaching control. The question is, does this apply to everyone? Not necessarily. You can look within yourself to discover what drives you. Some knowledge has worked for us for a long time, but if it is not based on truth or is spiritually incorrect, it should not be associated with God. If it is politically or business motivated, it is against spirituality and truth. Business and politics may be essential for our communities, but if they are hidden behind spirituality and God to manipulate ordinary individuals, they should be considered spiritual crimes. At the very least, they are unethical, and mixing unethical practices with God and spirituality should be a crime at all levels, because it denies personal free will and pins crimes on someone innocent. If you want spirituality, try removing fear and greed from within you and see what happens. You will gain clarity about who you are. You will be able to see, pick, choose, mix, and match everything good about God, spirituality, and everything in between to enrich your mortal journey. Regardless of race, gender, color, nation, or religion, every human individual has the ability to receive, pick, choose, mix, and match information from a vast ocean of knowledge. We use constantly incoming new data to run our lives successfully. If you believe life is preordained, it is for you to feel comfortable and thankful for your current situation. While this belief has its own wisdom, it is your prerogative to hold it. However, the reality of human life reveals many contradictions. Our evolving nature can challenge the concept of a preordained life. If hard work goes unrecognized because life is preordained, it discourages people from putting in effort. Reality shows that people worldwide, regardless of their background, work hard to succeed. Our evolving nature defies man-made political views and philosophies like preordained life. Being born into a royal family does not guarantee a lifetime of royalty, highlighting that our evolving nature disregards traditional systems of governance and religious beliefs. Historically, religions held significant political power, but today, they face consequences for spiritual crimes and must apologize for past atrocities. They even sell majestic buildings to pay bills. In our digitally connected world with a focus on equal human rights, the idea of preordained life struggles to hold ground. We must determine the level of effort needed to create a balanced belief system. Human evolution shows that even the most conservative societies must change with the times. Our evolutionary nature is the only thing truly preordained for us. Discussing this honestly, without political influence, reveals that educated individuals know they are not confined to their political boundaries. Every day brings new knowledge, making it unnatural for us to remain stuck in political ponds, streams, or rivers. Staying within political boundaries makes you believe your life is preordained, but humanity around you keeps moving forward. Logically and personally, no one should support these preached boundaries because they are political and not related to God. Knowledge should be seen as authority. While democracy is important, in terms of knowledge, the majority is not the authority. Logical truth is, if your emotions and the politics of belonging have taken over, and you follow your group's beliefs without questioning, you have been robbed of self-respect and self-esteem. Losing relevance means politics has reduced you to a programmed creature. We are not created this way. Each of us possesses an exclusive atom of autonomy, making us the CEOs of our lives. We must embrace this role. This does not undermine God or spirituality. It aligns with our preordained nature to be CEOs. I advocate for converting spirituality into physical actions, helping answer the prayers of those seeking divine assistance. Our evolutionary nature is preordained, meaning no human or religious knowledge can stand in the way of God's evolutionary plan. No book, including this blog, holds ultimate knowledge for evolving beings. Like me, you can pick, choose, mix, and match from your ocean of knowledge, as long as you are not politically brainwashed. I accept knowledge that is free from political bias and does not preach prejudice or discrimination. I question everything based on these principles. Prejudice and discrimination are neither spiritual nor from God. Believing you are superior because of your birth group or association messes up the whole picture of God, spirituality, humanity, and individuality. We must control our animal desires because we are meant to evolve beyond them. True belief in God, who is above human politics, leads to belief in equal human rights. As CEOs, we recognize our responsibilities. Each of us is relevant, and spiritual thoughts must be converted into physical actions. We are important partners of God because good intentions must manifest physically. Without action, spirituality is useless. We self-regulate to function socially, following spiritual ethics even without religious paths. The question of metaphoric heaven or hell is moot, since it is not a physical reality yet. Focus on your responsibilities in life, live honestly and spiritually reciprocate. If you treat others as you wish to be treated, you are on the right path. Imagine yourself on the receiving end of your actions before committing them. If you find them unacceptable, recognize them as spiritual crimes. This simple rule will guide you. If you feel irrelevant, explore yourself to understand who you are. Your complexity and evolving potential will amaze you. By becoming the CEO of your life, you will have a peaceful relationship with your personal atom of autonomy or God within you, free from guilt. You will use your sense of justice and see beyond the politics of belonging. Logically and spiritually, supporting justice means supporting equal human rights. You will evolve beyond programmed creatures and stand against political injustice. Equal human rights transcend racial, ethnic, gender, national, and religious boundaries, overcoming the prejudice and discrimination tied to politics of belonging. I am a liberal to my core and believe that God does not need any protection, especially regarding his existence. Logically, no one needs to argue over the existence of God because he exists within us. Our good deeds and the act of helping one another are living examples of God within us. If you worry about the future generations, do practical things now. Remember, protecting your belief systems or God is merely a political issue. Life has existed for an unimaginable time, and yet we have been killing each other, which presents a bigger issue. We need to evolve to become true human beings. If we continue to succumb to our killing urges, we are not evolving. It is time for us to evolve to the point where we stop killing each other over things that are not clearly understood with our current level of knowledge. The ancient Egyptians took their material possessions with them because they believed they would need them in the spiritual world. This was proven wrong when we robbed them. The Mayans predicted the world would end, yet here I am, writing this blog more than 20 years later. Why are we so occupied with the afterlife while we do terrible things to each other during our living years, often in the name of God and the afterlife? Whether the world ends or not, our politics continues to cause real damage. If you want proof, try counting the death toll caused by our belief systems about the afterlife. Unfortunately, we actively and willingly participate in this. The only provable reason is the politics of belonging to our groups. We have just sent a major telescope into space. We are aware of global issues like global warming and infectious diseases. We have the United Nations and related global initiatives, and our technology and medicine are evolving. The benefits of our evolution are countless. Vaccination has probably saved more lives than the current world population, and it's ongoing. Yet some people dismiss all this progress. Remember, nothing physical is accomplished by those who only pray and worship for their loved ones. Why then do we have such a divided humanity? By removing the politics of group belonging and connecting to humanity as a whole, we can solve most of our political problems. The spread of equal human rights is a clear sign of our evolution. These rights are essential for humanity, but then things like Trump's presidency happen. I don't believe things happen exclusively due to human actions. The question is, how do we remove the politics of belonging from our belief systems so we can figure things out? Since our oxygen supply, functioning bodies, and life-sustaining circumstances are not under our control, we can't take full credit for everything. Our progress and evolution happen because we collect knowledge from various sources. There is always an individual connection to our breakthroughs, and that individual has clearly been helped. We must learn to trust in nature because our lives only work after we take a breath. All our achievements, progress, and evolution relate to that one breath. We should all learn to acknowledge, appreciate, and believe in that help to be hopeful. Unfortunately, we often ignore this. On one hand, we say even a leaf on a tree can't move without God's will, yet we kill each other in God's name. The real disconnections are not related to our spiritual belief systems, but rather to the infections eroding humanity. Yes, they are all based on the politics of belonging to our groups. If you can personally and individually figure this out, you will love to connect with humanity as a whole. If you belong to groups that kill people to enforce spiritual beliefs as a governing system, they are trying to meddle with God's will, as if God is unable to manage his own affairs. The question is, are you personally giving God a good or bad name?